Welcome everyone to this week's F3 track guide. We are at Lime Rock Park, the Chicanes Layout this week, and yes, I know, shortest track on the circuit, and they've still managed to fit two Poxy Chicanes. Both of them are very different, and both of them are just treacherous. There's going to be a lot of accidents caused by those this week, so we definitely need to navigate our way through those in a quick but ultimately a safe manner, because it's going to be absolute carnage here this week through those. Track temperature is going to be quite hot again, ranging between 30 to 40 degrees. I set my lap time in a 37 degree track temperature. So the lap time I did was a 50.96. Just got it under the 51 second marker. It's going to be quite difficult to get into the 50 or below the 51s this week. It's more about survival and avoiding the carnage, because it is such a short track. There'll be lots of you'll be lapping lots of cars, so you need to make sure that you're navigating your way around those safely as well. So yeah, it's overtaking. There's not really many overtaking opportunities through here. Maybe into a couple of the chicanes, but that's at your own risk. The prime overtaking opportunity is in the start-finish straight. So yeah, we have to make sure that we get that last chicane, which we'll see in the flying lap and the track analysis. We need to make sure that we get the exit out of there right, and get a nice run down into the first corner, because that's where you're going to do all your overtaking this week, guys. I think that's the prime opportunity. But as always, we're going to have a flying lap with a far chase camera angle, and then we're going to analyse that flying lap. But yeah, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and let's head into it. So here we are, everyone. We are on the start-finish line. As I said in the intro, this is where most of your overtakes are going to be done on track this week, I believe. It's prime overtaking opportunity. As we all know, the F3 cars in the draft are amazing, and it's important for us to get this first corner right, because it can also, even if you go for an overtaking opportunity, it can also end up very badly for you as well. So let's run it down into the first corner, and we are keeping an eye out for this number one marker. We'll slow it down, but as you can see, I'm braking just before it, and I'm shifting down from 6th to 4th. Now, I don't want to get on this apex, and I'm not trying to keep it tight through this apex all the way through. I'm going to allow the car to drift out slightly because it's a very long right-hander. So you want to keep it tight, out wide, then tight again as you come round the corner. As you can see, I'm allowing the car to drift out to the left slightly, into the middle of the track. Shifting down into third as we get round the corner. And then I'm back on the throttle. Now, be very careful, guys, here not to carry too much speed. It's so important that you don't miss your braking markers, because it's so easy to run wide here. If you dip any of your left wheels on this grass, you are in the barriers. You'll be very, very lucky to stay out of the barriers, that's for sure, because this grass all runs towards the barriers as well. So you're just heading straight for them. The lay of the lands just takes you straight to them. So you want to stay off them. Just don't touch it. Keep it on the black stuff here. So as you can see, I'm shifting down into fourth as we go through, not using any braking, and we're back on the throttle, keeping it tight through here. Now, I do get my two wheels up on this curb, but that isn't ideal. That was actually a little bit of a mistake by myself, because as you can see, it kind of bobbles the car and you don't get the optimum traction through the corner and the optimum exit. So if anything, I lost a little bit of time there. So that was maybe a tenth or so, probably just a tenth that I lost there through the corner by going up on this curb. As you can see, you can do it. I got away with it. It doesn't unsettle the car enough to throw you off and to spin the car, but it's not ideal. It doesn't give you the optimum speed through the corner and on the exit of the corner. So we can use this little runoff here, but as you can see, it's very, very narrow. Not you want to kind of just, you can use it, but don't plan to get on that every single time, because it's a very fine line between you touching the grass. Now, then very quickly we come round to a left-hander. Now, there's not really any braking markers here. There's nothing on the right hand side or on the left. So what I do is we're getting our car back into the middle of the track. We're not bringing it all the way out wide to open up this left-hander. We're just going into the middle of the track, and you'll see this pretty much where the tyre marks properly start is when I then start to brake. It's kind of feel as well. They do come up on you very quickly. The tyre tracks kind of run all the way down the middle of the track anyway, but where there's quite a big group of them here that you can see, that's where I'll then start to brake. So as we're going through the corner, we're in third, and we're in the middle of the track here, and we want to hang it out into the middle, and then as you start to see this curb come into view, that's when we then want to start to turn in, and we want to hit this curb about halfway through, where it really starts to take a sharp turn here. We want to get our wheels on this curb, because what we're doing here is that we are keeping it close through this corner, so that we're then opening up a very quick right-hander, because the right-hander that comes next comes up in you very quickly. So as you can see, almost touching the grass, making the use of that runoff as best as we can. And see, now we are on the left-hand side of the track. And if the track temperature was a lot colder, we can take this corner flat out. We don't need to lift, but because the track temperature is quite hot, we don't have as much grip, so we have to have a slight lift. So as you can see, as we get through that corner, it comes up on us very quickly, and we're then having to turn in. Once again, stay off of this curb because I know it's tempting to ride the curbs, but they don't like the F3 cars around here. So stay off of these. Keep it really tight through there. So slight lift, back on the throttle. Make sure you straighten out the steering as well, because if you keep the steering input through this corner too much, you're just going to end up spinning. Plenty of times I've done that within practice and within races, unfortunately. And then we're on the throttle, keeping it tight to the right hand side. Once again, stay off this ideally, no need to touch it. Cover as little track as possible. And then we're coming down into the first pesky chicane. Now this one is the one with the sausage curbs. Not ideal, I know. So what we are keeping an eye out for here, braking marker, is this tree. Now this tree has a lovely shadow that casts itself across the track, and that is our braking marker into this chicane. As you can see, I brake just before it, and you're really going to be braking hard down here. Now obviously be careful not to lock your wheels up. Stand over to the left hand side, and you want to allow the car to roll through. As you can see, ideally I've got on the throttle very early, which for optimum speed and to optimize your lap times, you want to get on the throttle as early as you can, really through here as you're just getting to this curb. But I understand when we've got more fuel in the car and in a race scenario, we may not be as inclined to get on the throttle as early. So just allow the car to roll through, and then once you've got the car kind of straight, the steering input straight, you can then get back on the throttle. As you see here, we want to keep it as tight as we can to this curb. And then as we get past the second one, we straighten out the steering and we're back on the throttle. And then it's just straight over the hill. Thankfully, this hill is nowhere near as severe as the crest in the normal layout of Lime Rock Park, so we don't have to necessarily worry about snapping our steering input straight back to normal. Covering as little track as possible, and that is the first chicane. Now, of course, going back to that second chicane, if you have got a severe run on someone down here, you can overtake them. It's a risky move because more than likely you're going to be coming up on the inside and you're going to have a much narrow and shallower angle into this chicane. Now, I don't need to tell you guys, stay off these sausage curbs, don't touch them. 1, you'll get floor damage. 2, you can get front wing damage. 3, your car will just spin out and you're going to cause a pile up. So you have to be very, very careful and slow the car down enough to make sure you get through that chicane, because you don't want to be coming on the inside here and then hit this sausage curb. You can't take it at all, so be careful there. If you overshoot it and you think you're not going to make it, just take your medicine and just go over the grass, take your slow down. That way you still have a working car, you don't have any damage, and you're not going to cause a crash. So, right, we play it up to the next chicane. And this is very different, this one. This is very different. So, what we're keeping an eye out for, there's a couple of shadows here from these trees. And what we're keeping an eye out for is this one here, the first big large one. That is your braking marker, or just after it. That's where I brake. As you can see, we'll really slow it down. So as I've just got past it, I'm braking. and I'm braking all the way down into second gear, but not immediately because I want to allow the car to roll through. And I would highly advise going back and having a look at the far chase camera angle, the bird's eye view, because you'll be able to see exactly how wide I take this corner and how much I cut the chicanes, because there is room to cut these here, but you have to be careful. So I know it's tempting, but we don't want to take a too shallow of a line because it's going to affect our entry or affect our exit out of the chicane. So we're going to hang it out wide a little bit, and then we're going to start to bring it back in, because this is almost straight here. So we need to swing it out wide so that we can open up this very sharp right hander, because it's pretty much straight, and then we're taking the left. It's a nasty chicane. So there'll be lots of people spinning it here into the entry, and there'll be lots of people spinning on the exit. So we're braking. As you can see, I'm turning a little bit early because we can cut this corner. There's quite a bit of room here to cut this corner. I've cut it quite severely sometimes, and I haven't received a slowdown. I've just got an off track. It's on this one here, the one after it, the exit of the chicane, that you get a slowdown. So you have to be careful on this one. But there's a bit of time to be made up here. So as you can see, I'm already getting back on the throttle before we've even got to the corner. Around about half throttle. I'm not getting on full throttle here. Throttle control is very important, because as you can see, if you go over these corners, which is required to optimize your lap times, the car's kind of shifting about, it's bobbling about, and you get down on the throttle too early, the car just spins. And I've did it a number of times trying to put this together for you guys. So definitely be careful on the exit here. So as you can see, we then cut this corner as well, but be careful not to cut it too much, because if you do, you will get a slowdown, and it's a horrible place to get a slowdown, because as I said, we've then got a nice run down into the start finish straight into the first corner, which is a prime overtaking opportunity. So it's so important to get the exit right of this chicane here, because it just sets up the number one overtaking opportunity. So it's here you then want to, as you're getting through, the car's really bobbling here, and you want to straighten out your steering as best as you can, and then you get back on the throttle. So important there, guys. There'll be lots of people spinning it there. So yeah, a bit of practice required to get through that chicane in a safe manner. You don't necessarily have to get out of there quick, because through these chicanes, or through chicanes, you have the concertina effect. So you can slow everyone down. It's not so much how quick you go into the chicane, it's all about your exit. So you want to nail your exit. You can, if you're sneaky, you can even slow people up through the chicane, slight lift of the throttle, and then make sure you nail that exit. Slow in, fast out. And then as we play it through, it is then a nice flat out right hander, staying off of this curb, keeping it tight but staying off of it, and flat out across the start finish line. And there we go, guys. That is an analysis of the flying lap that we set, a 50.96. I hope that really helps you guys this week. It's more about survival around here. It's one thing to go fast, but survival, if you're starting middle of the pack, good luck. Because all it takes is for one person to muck up the chicanes on that first couple of laps, and it's just absolute carnage. So it should make good for some compilation videos of some fails. But yeah, not particularly a good race, a week for racing. Me personally, once again, I'll be doing a couple of races here just to get my my points for the series, for league standings. Not doing too bad this year. And then I will be pursuing other series this week's other track combos. But yeah, as always, I hope that takes plenty of time off your lap times, makes you more consistent. Hope you have some good results this week. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button, turn those notifications on. Feel free to join my Discord in the link in the description below. And I'll see you for the next one.